The papers hit my desk like a slap. Plaintiffs? My parents. Defendant? Me. They were suing me, their only child. Why? Because I refused to sell my apartment to fund my sister's divorce. My mother's words echoed as I stared at the documents. You owe this family. And my father's, sharper. If you don't help, you're dead to us. I didn't yell, I didn't beg, I just folded the papers neatly and thought, so this is what betrayal feels like. It hadn't always been this way. When I bought the apartment, they smiled like proud parents should. My father clapped me on the back. First in the family to own property. You're going to be our success story. For once, I believed him. For years, I carried their weight, loaning money, covering emergencies, paying bills my father conveniently forgot. I told myself it was love, that someday they'd see my sacrifice. But when my sister's marriage collapsed, suddenly my home wasn't mine. It was a bargaining chip. Sell it, my mother ordered. We need the money for her lawyers, my father added. I said no. Calm, firm. For the first time in my life, I chose myself. That's when they declared war. At first, I thought it was just anger, empty threats. But then the notice came. A lawsuit. Their signatures clear as day. They claimed I had bought the apartment with their money, that I was holding family property hostage. The irony? Every cent was mine. I had the receipts, the transfers, the sleepless nights working overtime. They knew it too, but truth didn't matter. Power did. And that's when my grief shifted into something sharper. I stopped being their child. I became their opponent. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I planned. First, I gathered evidence. Every bank statement, every wire transfer, every signed receipt from the day I scraped together my down payment. Second, I found a lawyer. Not just any lawyer. The kind who smiled like a wolf when I slid the lawsuit across the table. They're trying to bleed you, he said. We'll make them choke on it instead. Third, I stayed silent. No arguments, no calls. I let them think I was cornered, scared, beaten. Because arrogance makes people sloppy. And they were very sloppy. During discovery, my lawyer pulled everything. My parents' accounts, my sister's. Buried in the mess of numbers was the truth. They weren't just broke, they were desperate, drowning in debt, maxed cards, defaulted loans. And suddenly, their lawsuit wasn't about family, it was about survival. They wanted my apartment because it was the only thing of value within reach. That's when I knew. I wasn't just defending myself, I was going to bury them with their own greed. Court was sterile. White walls, cold benches. My parents walked in looking righteous, as if betrayal could wear church clothes. My sister sat behind them, eyes down, avoiding mine. They told their story first, about sacrifices they'd made, money they'd invested, how I had turned ungrateful and cruel. My mother even wept on cue. For a moment, I almost admired their performance. Almost. Then it was my turn. My lawyer handed the judge the stack of records, thick, undeniable. Every document showing the money was mine. My overtime paychecks, my transfers, the receipts of their own debts proving they couldn't have funded anything. The judge's eyes lingered on the papers longer than on my parents' tears. That's when I saw my father's jaw tighten. My mother's hands tremble. They knew. The fire they lit was about to burn them. The verdict came fast. Case dismissed. Ownership confirmed in my name. But I wasn't done. My lawyer leaned forward with the coup de grace, a counterclaim, harassment, defamation, legal fees. My parents' faces drained as the judge allowed it. The lawsuit they filed to strip me of my home had backfired. Now they owed me. When the gavel fell, it was more than victory. After court, my father approached me in the hallway, his voice low, almost pleading. You didn't have to go this far. We're family. I looked him in the eye, steady. No, Dad. Family doesn't sue family. My mother whispered, "We needed you." I leaned close so only they could hear. You didn't need me. You needed what was mine, and you lost both. I walked away before they could answer. People ask if I regret it, if it hurt to watch my own parents fall. Yes, it hurt. But pain isn't weakness. Pain is clarity. For years, I believed love meant sacrifice, that if I kept giving, they'd finally see me, respect me, maybe even love me back. But they didn't want me. They wanted ownership of me. And when I refused, they sued to take it by force. So I taught them the lesson they'll never forget. You can't light your child on fire and expect warmth in return. Now I sit in my apartment, the one they tried to steal. The walls are mine. The keys are mine. The freedom is mine.